Hello and welcome to Real Menopause Talk. My guest today is Daria Tiesler, a former professional athlete and now personal trainer and coach. We talk about why she feels so strongly about training women in perimenopause and menopause. We also discuss absorption and uptake of HRT and other remedies, why she wants menopausal women to set new goals and really live their lives to the fullest. We also touch on the deeper meaning of perimenopause and what this transition can really bring, particularly the change in attitude to life and to ourselves. It's lovely to meet you, Daria.
Fantastic to be here, Hadi.
Would you like to start by telling everybody a little bit about you, yourself, your background?
Yes, welcome everybody. I was like, oh yeah, we're recording already. And I did that entrance, but that entrance was actually good because it was very natural, very authentic. And I think that is why we're speaking Hati today. Now,
Yes.
We want to talk about holism in this transition and transformation. And for me, that's very important to take in a natural approach to a natural changes in female body. Now, it is no disease like pregnancy is not a disease, it's a moment in women's life. Yes, so my name is Daria Tiesler, and as Hati, I have been training females and males as well for last 17 years. So very long journey in personal training. I have started my journey in 2004. I came to London in 2002. I'm from Poland. I used to be a professional athlete, earning money for doing a passion. It's fantastic. Now, had a great life. Being an athlete was a fantastic experience. I have traumatic end. I had finished my career as a result of an injury and long journey. Short, I think I went through that trauma, depression as a result, loss of identity. And I knew I always wanted to stay in area of sports. That was my passion. There was my heart. And yes, in 2006, I did personal training qualifications. I still was bearing in mind in this weird post-traumatic, post-injury position with lack of extension of my knee around 30 degrees. So that's how I used to walk for 14 years before I decided to unlock my mindset and I believe trust that there is a solution for me. I never lost hope. I was dreaming about coming back to having a normal knee. And I think that is one of my visions for everyone. Never lose hope on any path you are taking. So I did my course of personal training. I started to personal training people. My first gym was in a Hilton hotel in London, Euston. Then I have moved to work in 2010 to Ultimate Performance. I worked there on and off for 5 years. So I was working with the best trainers who specializes in body composition. I've learned a lot. But in the meantime, I realized that there is more to body than just training, because I was getting women and men with this thing that despite they were dropping calories, doing more, the body was not changing. So there was something else going on. So I have stepped into a journey of becoming nutritional therapist. I finished College of Naturopathic Medicine in London, working on life coaching or like a coaching performance. That was also my passion from peak performance, from being a athlete. And then, I combine all those therapies and modalities. And today I'm running my own company, which transitioned from being a self-employed into something beyond that I see for female, more potential, more purpose, and more prosperity, right? So that is my professional journey. I'm a mother. I have 3.5 years old daughter, amazing husband. I have few siblings, went through a trauma of loss of my sister in 2018. So went through a lot, Hati. Therefore, my approach to health, fitness, wellness comes from holism. And I'm going to strongly support There is no one solution for everyone.
It's so interesting that you instinctively decided to look at the whole person in front of you, because you can drop calories a certain amount if you want to get leaner or lose body fat and train as hard as you like. But sometimes that almost has the adverse effect, and you're not seeing the progress that you want to see, either in terms of strength or ability or agility or fat loss. And so looking at the whole person is absolutely crucial. As a pro athlete and a personal trainer, what makes you so passionate, not just about the whole person, whether they're male or female, but also about menopause?
It's because they're my customers those days. No, so that was a natural for me that female, I started to see more females around 35, 38, 45, towards 48, 50, that age of hitting menopause. And then natural transition, I see, I'm running recently workshops for actually women around 60s and 70s. And I'm teaching them about, everything they should know about health and prevention. But yes, I work with women with that range of perimenopause, and I think this is where I want to stay, because menopause is for me nothing else than another transition. But because I believe in a prevention, and I see big problem here, because women who hits menopause around 50, many women may hit earlier, they are unprepared.
Mm-hmm.
So if I think, can I prepare them to this transition, so it's going to be easier to enter into different stage of their life, either it's a body, mind, emotional health, spiritual journey, anything, then this is where I want to pay attention. Because then if they decide to go for HRT or bioidentical hormones on anything, the absorption and the uptake of that is going to be benefiting them better. It's not about just addressing the symptoms, and those therapies will address the symptoms, but many of them are unprepared. They entering with a mindset that is a bit broken, because for so many years they have been dieting, they have been neglecting body composition. Either they knew, either they didn't know. So it's like a conscious or unconscious patterns and choices. And this is where I want to stay. So when they enter into menopause, this is indirectly linked why I'm interested in menopause, because I want to create this amazing product, those amazing super women that goes into menopause, then they set new goals, new targets, new potentials, and they're going to continue life, and bring in more positivity into the world.
I love that you say they're going to continue life, because that is part of the mindset. I think many of us have been brought up to think that this is the end and we're no longer interesting and visible and powerful, when it's completely the reverse. This is the beginning of part 2. This is where we can reinvent ourselves and continue our lives, maybe even more in the direction that we wanted to originally, or maybe we just find a new way of doing it. Whereabouts are you in terms of perimenopause?
I am 42 now. And when I was 30, I was thinking, oh my goodness, life is just getting in front of me. I'm going to reach this goal and this goal and that goal. And I did, but I didn't recognize all what I have achieved. I didn't want to recognize, but I think now I'm like more connected and tuned with myself. And that is what I didn't have in my 30s. Mm-hmm. So I am like, I'm actually happier now. I was having conversation with one of my female clients. She's 35, but body is very broken at age 35. Lots of metabolic issues. Obviously, from what? From following this calorie counting diets, over exercising, and that is one solution. Mm-hmm. But this solution has side effects, no? And on this particular woman had side effects. And she said, oh, I think I need to take longer approach to this, no? And she said, recently someone asked me a question, what do you love about yourself? And she said, Daria, I only was able to say that I love my nail and I love my hair. And she said, what is the rest of me? And I said, I understand you because I have been there. And actually, my path of transformation started when I was 35. And I know where is she right now, in search of herself. And I asked myself the same question yesterday. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe there are parts of me that they could be better, but I cannot say anymore I don't love them. In terms of perimenopause, I even don't know if I'm in perimenopause. I'm 42, but I know that I am different spiritually and mentally because I have been working with my body well for so many years. Even I would say, as an athlete, I burned out. That was the reason I had an injury, and I burned out around my 30. When I was around 35, I burned out second time. So I know those body symptoms, but I'm mentally and spiritually different. So is this for me a perimenopause? And Wayne Dyer was saying at some point of women's life, there is a transition where women going away from just nurturing and nourishing everyone around. And they starting to think about themselves, which is not coming from ego, which is not coming from being self-centered in this negative way. I've been that way, that I've been looking after everyone around, pleasing everyone around, and I always would feel guilt if I did something for myself, and took a long time to realize the pattern. Now I'm mother. I've become mother at age 39. And it's great because I know that there is a nice balance between me and my daughter, and I don't do anything to use her to fulfill myself. So this is, I think, where I am, much more the spiritual and body-mind connection transformation than only looking at the symptoms, hot flashes, lack of sleep and sweat.
The way that you're putting yourself first, again, without ego, is magical. When life gets so busy, it's very difficult for women to push themselves further up their priority list. Again, I love the way that you say that, without ego, and the fact that it isn't selfish. When I've been teaching or with clients, I've always said you need to fill up your own bucket so that you can give what you want to give. How do you encourage your clients to look after themselves and put themselves at the top of the list?
You know what? It's very hard.
Yes.
It's very hard because this is the generation of women that is like 5, 6, 7 years older than I. So if I had trouble, they're going to have even more trouble because I already feel like influence of availability of the informations, it's influenced my thinking. But they didn't have that, or there weren't many like points, go there and check. So really is changing their pattern of thinking, because they won't be able to suddenly get 5-10 minutes in their busy schedule for themselves, because that never has been priority. So somehow I always go into the values. So I use little bit performance coaching, and I'm like, where are you? What is important? Sometimes I'm using directive way of coaching before they like come up with this connection really with them. And I'm like pointing out, look, your son now is 18. You really don't need to clean his socks. No, or your child really can support preparation of the breakfast. No, or involve your family in whatever house activities you've got, or just state, this is 10 minutes for me. And I always encourage them to speak the truth, which is also difficult because women are suppressed with authentic voice and authentic expression. And then sometimes that comes at the cost of arguments. No, so you have to be very careful because there is a certain family dynamics. Whatever I suggest has to be digested. Often takes time until things click, and then you start to realize that really you don't give in yourself a space. So I think starting from values, telling someone, Hati, and I'm sure you know, drink a water, eat 5 grams of this, or do time for exercise, is just not working until this become part of us, has to be established on this emotional level, so it's touching us deeply.
Yeah, I agree. And you're right. It is hard. It's hard to do it for yourself initially. And then to expect others to take it on is a real challenge. But you're doing it for their benefit and you want them to experience that so they can look after themselves better. On the more physical level, muscles and menopause, my two favorite subjects, and body composition. So maintaining lean muscle mass, what does that really mean to those who are less familiar with it?
Oh, big time. Now, lots of, I think, women that are really sitting on the top of this topic are like you, me, can say there's lots of research and data. Is not, they just coming out. All data probably always was there. It's just no one really look at this. We just left everything for our male, unfortunately, This is where their strength and power comes from. What does it mean, this lean body composition? Women coming to me and they say, "Oh, I want to lose weight." Usually it's about weight. It's about scale, no? And then we have to reframe. Yes, you want to lose weight, which may comes over time, but you really want to change how much muscles you've got on your body comparison to the body fat. And this is what we supposed to pay attention more to than losing the weight. Because what you have been possibly observing, Hati, and I've got the 17 years of observation of female body, women losing weight, but they also losing lean muscle mass. Mm-hmm. Less lean muscle mass you've got, you're going to have more fat. Obviously, we have a mass of the bones as well, water, which is part of this scale, magical scale stuff, right? That's why we never say assess your body weight just on the scale, because we know that premenstrual or definitely hormonal changes will affect what is on the scale. You've got a block digestion, you constipate, pool, you're going to be a bit heavier. So explore beyond digestion, explore food digestibility, water retention. Now, that's all is going to affect what you see on the scale.
I'm so glad you said that, because you can literally go up or down by a kilo overnight with water, and with hormonal fluctuations in a normal cycle, or I say normal cycle, let's say the traditional 28 days, then you're still going to see this. But in perimenopause, when your periods become so erratic and irregular, the water might go skyrocketing and plummeting literally from day to day, and you don't know when that's going to be. So I'm really glad you pointed that out. And digestion as well. It's another potential symptom of perimenopause, is having digestive issues. So it can affect it. And much more important is muscle mass, because I certainly still get women who say, I don't want to bulk up. I don't want to put on muscle. I don't want to get chunky. And yet from our 40s, our muscle mass tends to decline. Another argument is, well, muscles aren't for everybody. What would you say to that?
Oh, this is the good one. This is the one I always convince a woman that for 20 or 30 years of their life have been doing aerobic exercise, and now they go into a hot yoga studio to keep burning, because this is like encoded in them. That you have to burn and burn and burn. It's very difficult. They cannot comprehend if they address lean muscle mass, they don't need to work that hard. No, obviously we're going to then have different bodies and different body composition naturally. I am very athletic. I used to be athlete. On the top of that, I have very powerful genetics. Obviously, genetics is 10-15%. So my results will come from epigenetics, everything that I do to support my genome. But then someone will have tendencies to more having insulin resistance. Let's say Asian population. I work lots with women in London with Asian genetics. We know that the diabetes is much higher there, so there is much more insulin resistance. And then we have to work with this genetics. Those women may be not as easy to putting muscles as I do. So the idea that you just go, and I had this also, I had women who would be doing like on the first session walking lunges without actually weights. They would be telling me within a session, I don't want to do lunges because I'm already expanding my muscles. I think women not get used to the feeling of muscle tension. That's why I'm always questioning, because Hati, to maintain certain postures in this yoga and Pilates, no, or those type of activities, you need to know how to maintain tension.
Yes.
And I know because we're working with this. So to someone who does not even know how to squeeze the muscles, if you don't have bigger resistance on it, your brain never is going to work. It is just not possible. And if you using as an example a woman who does bodybuilding, and she shows these huge muscles, please contact her and ask her how this was achieved. Believe me, this was not achieved by her doing a 10 or 15 press-ups on the knees halfway with a tempo 1-1-1-1. You know what I mean? So it takes time. But just to finalizing the question, I want to hear you. So you have to give yourself time. But there is so many benefits of increased lean muscle mass for your brain, for your aging, for your longevity, for hormonal balancing on its own. I had female having improved menstrual cycles. I know that towards perimenopause this changes, but maybe you want to stay with optimal level of hormones for longer than you are 45. I'm actually going to test this on myself. No, I'm 42. I'm going to see how long can I go with better ratio of estrogen and progesterone. No, they used to say 35 is the last time when you can get pregnant. Now they saying you can get pregnant when you're 40 and you're still well. So why we cannot change? Maybe now 55 will be change when you're running yourself optimally, when female hormones will drop. All is possible.
Many women also at this point in life lose their sense of self and their sense of joy. You obviously get a load of endorphins from exercise. What else brings you joy?
Hati, as I told you, the last, especially 3-4 years after I've lost my sister, it has been a very big change for me to turning inwards, searching for sources from outside. It's interesting because my life has been very erratic, changes, so many things happen outside. I'm building amazing business, which also sometimes is like, oh, do I do wrong? Do I do good? This is entrepreneurship path. I've got amazing daughter. Sometimes I don't sleep at night, then I sleep, then great relationship with my husband. But I really have realized when someone would be saying in the past, remember the beauty and happiness is inside you. And I wouldn't know what does it mean. And now I know. It's very hard to explain, but things stop to bothering me. Things stop to touching me. I use more kind of like certain candles. I use certain stones, to further keep cleaning my aura. I have cleaned so many people from my life. Like I have this big reassessment of what I want for me. So I think that would be my answer. Reassess, be brave, and tell for yourself, this works, this does not work, this is what I want for me, this is what I don't want for me, and really go in that heart deeply, because this is really what is the joy and happiness, because you can have everything. But if there is insight, and I've seen this as well from my clients, some of them have everything, and they are like, still inside is lack of joy.
Keep finding that joy inside. You can find Daria on Instagram at daria.tiesler and on her website hpmwellness.com. I will put all the details in the show notes. Follow us on the podcast app of your choice or subscribe wherever you choose to get your podcasts. And please do leave us a review. It really does help other people find us. Don't forget to drop me a line, Hattie, Hatty, at realmenopausetalk.com to let me know what you think of the podcast so far this season, what you're enjoying, and even what you're not. All feedback is very welcome. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.